3 years ago, when I first reviewed the brand new Kia Telluride, I was blown away. I knew Kia created something special, and at that time, I thought the Kia Telluride was definitely the best midsize SUV one could buy because it had a perfect balance of everything. Perfect balance of space and size, power, comfort, safety features overall. It just had the right combination and did everything well. Now, fast forward to today, Kia refreshes the Telluride to be even better. On the outside, it looks different, more aggressive, more modern. Inside, more features as well. So is this still the best midsize SUV you could buy today? Let's find out. All right, I'm behind the wheel, so let me tell you more about this Kia Telluride, and let's see how good it is on the roads. First of all, let's talk about the changes to the Telluride. I think the most obvious change is the exterior look, although it's not that obvious. For example, the grille. The grille has been reshaped. Not as big and curvy as before. There's a little bit more design to it for this year. And also, the X-Line and X Pro, this one is the X Pro, also gets a different grille design than a normal Telluride, so keep that in mind. But the grille does get reshaped. Also, the headlights are reshaped. They definitely look different, and the beautiful orange amber daytime running lights unfortunately gets replaced with this refresh. That's what really made the Telluride stand out, because every manufacturer with their daytime running lights is, just usually white light. But Kia, change it up, having orange daytime running lights, and unfortunately that's been removed. I love that. With the X Pro, you also do get LED fog lights below. So overall, the front end does change slightly, but unless you're paying attention, you may overlook it. Something else that's changed within the last few years is the emblem, the Kia badge, right? Kia has moved to this new design, looks a lot more modern, and that in itself looks a whole lot better with the Telluride versus the very first ones I reviewed 3 years ago. Also, with this new refresh, you do get new wheels. The wheel designs have changed. Normally with the SX Prestige, you get 20-inch wheels. But because this is the X Pro, you get 18-inch wheels, a little bit smaller, but you get all-terrain tires. So it makes the Telluride look a bit more aggressive, more meant for the outdoors. But if you wanted to get the X-Line, right, you still get blacked out 20-inch wheels, but you don't get the all-terrain tires. But with either X-Line or X Pro, you do get all the chrome on the outside, all the trim pieces replaced with this like shadow black color, and it just looks better in my opinion. Also, you got roof rack that's included. So these are some of the things you see on the outside. But if you're looking at the overall silhouette, the shape of the Telluride pretty much looks the same as before. Now, what else changed with the Telluride? Well, the inside did change. The dash has been redesigned, and that's because you now have two large screens, very similar to the luxury cars out there. Both screens are very bright, responsive. The digital gauge cluster, of course, you get to see your digital representation of your speed, your tachometer, speedometer. You can see the speed limit, you can see trip computer, all those good things. You also get cool features like, for example, you get to see your blind spot inside the digital gauge cluster. So if you turn on your signals, it'll show you what's in your blind spot on the left or right. Really nice. Another thing that you get with this new Telluride is the power tailgate can auto close now. So that's something. And you still have smart entry into it too. So it will automatically open the tailgate if it detects you're behind it for a certain amount of time with your key. The Telluride is still one of the biggest midsize SUVs in the segment. It is enormous on the inside. There's no problem with space. Plenty of headroom, shoulder room, hip room, right? No problem. Second row, no problem whatsoever. I still have maybe 5-6 inches of legroom behind my driving position and about 3 to 4 inches of headroom, and I'm 5'10". Now the third row is a little bit cramped for adults, but still it's not that bad if you move the second row up a little bit, or for kids, it's actually pretty comfortable. And as for cargo room, you get plenty of it. Even with the third row up, still a good amount of space for your luggage, for your groceries. Underneath, you have hidden storage too. So the privacy cover can be also stored underneath. Really nice. You also get a household outlet in the back and a 12V outlet in case you want to charge things back there. Plus, you do have switches to fold down your second row. So if you wanted to fold down the third row and the second row, you could easily do that from the rear. And you can see with everything folded down, you get massive amount of space. Everything is flat, almost completely flat. And yeah, this Telluride is plenty big. Now, as for features, you literally get everything inside a Kia Telluride, especially with the top trim level like this SX Prestige X Pro. You get everything. Let's just start out with some of the simple stuff, convenience stuff. Third row passengers, you know, the kids most likely. You got 2 cup holders on each side, USB port on each side, vents, check. Second row passengers gets much more. You get a USB port for each passenger. You also get a 12V outlet, a household outlet. Also, each passenger gets sunshades. They get their own sunroof. And also, they get heated and ventilated seats. How many midsize SUVs outside the luxury market gets ventilated seats in the back? But yeah, they get it. And also climate controls too. So everything, right? And up front, well, you get even more. Heated and ventilated seats, check. Heated steering wheel, check. You want a digital rearview mirror? Check. Yes, you can see what's behind you, right? So in case second row, third row passengers are blocking your view, you can see that. You get your sunroof up there, right? Check. So you do literally get everything. And those are just the basic stuff. Wireless charger, yes, check. What about some of the more advanced features? Well, with this Telluride, you now get massage seats. Well, at least the driver's seat. They label it lumbar support. Basically, if you're driving too long, the Telluride will adjust your lumbar support for you. It's a poor man's version of a massage chair. You get that. You also get convenience stuff. For example, getting in and out of your Telluride, it can actually lower your seat for you. Not the car, but lower the seat. It can also retract, you know, the easy mode where you're getting in and out. Yeah, they could do those things. And then there's other features such as hotspot capability. You got Kia Connect. Now the infotainment screen can do OTA updates. Fantastic stuff. Also, you get Google integrated, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course, those are integrated. I mean, really, you get everything. And there's so much adjustability inside too. There's passenger talk. So if you wanted to talk to your passengers in the back, yes, you could adjust the sound. There's something called Quantum Logic Surround that you could turn on and off. I mean, there's so many features inside this infotainment system. I can't even go through all of it. But yeah, you get all of that. You also get drive modes too. Okay, drive modes. There's various drive modes, right, that will adjust your all-wheel drive system. And you get a center locking differential in case things get really hairy outside in terms of snow, mud, rain, right? This Telluride has you covered. And I did mention, because it's X Pro, you did get all-terrain tires. So for those of you guys that do plan on doing more off-roading with the Telluride, it's definitely worth looking at because of the all-terrain tires. That makes a big difference. So what about comfort? How comfortable is this Telluride? Well, it's very, very comfortable, among the best in this class. Let's start out with the inside. The seats are absolutely amazing. Quilted Napa leather. They look fantastic with the X Pro. Actually, you see X Pro on the seat, but they look absolutely fantastic. They feel fantastic, real leather, and they hold you in quite well. I think the seat bolsters are the right size. The back bolsters holds my back without being too aggressive. Same thing with the bottom cushion bolsters. So the seats are very comfortable. Same thing with the second row too. Second row captain chairs, plenty of space to get in the third row too. So seats are absolutely fantastic. Besides just the seats, you get this nice contrast. You get soft material or leather throughout the cabin, right? So you definitely have that luxuriousness inside, and great use of aluminum throughout, black trim. You get this wood, simulated wood trim all around. Kia just did a really nice job inside. Also, it's very quiet, extremely quiet. Luxury car quiet. I really can't hear anything from the outside. Zero. Not even from the road. Even with these all-terrain tires, I don't hear anything. It is really quiet inside. And the suspension also, very nice. The Telluride, in my opinion, rides a little bit stiffer than the Palisade, its corporate cousin, but that's a good thing. You feel like you're more in control. But even with that said, it's just very comfortable. Every bump is being soaked up by the suspension like it's nothing. So it's really comfortable on the inside. Among the best in this class, for sure. And speaking of air suspension, you can configure Telluride with self-leveling rear air suspension. In case you are towing, you could tow up to 5,500 pounds, or you're just hauling a lot of stuff in the back, it will self-level for you. So that is also a feature you can configure. You don't see a lot of midsize SUVs offer that feature either. How is the drive? Well, the drive is among the best in this class too. I already mentioned about the suspension, but what about the steering? The steering is nice. The steering wheel looks good. Probably not the most modern steering wheel. I've seen some other steering wheels that does look a little bit more modern, but nothing to complain about. It still has a nice design, has aluminum buttons, and of course you control your digital gauge cluster. I already talked about it, and some of your safety features like your adaptive cruise control. Yeah, it feels good. The leather feels good. It could be better if it was a little bit thicker in my opinion, but overall, I think most people will find it just fine. The steering feel itself, very little play in the steering wheel, so that's good. You have a nice weight to it, not too heavy, but nice weight. I would say this is a little bit firmer than, say, the Palisade. So overall steering feels good. Now, as for the powertrain, it goes unchanged, and that's okay because you're still getting a powerful 3.8 liter V6, made it to a terrific 8-speed automatic, which you really can't feel when it's shifting up and down. It's really smooth. But you're getting over 290 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. It's in line with others in this class. And around town, plenty of power. You put your foot down, plenty of passing power. Overall, you don't feel bogged down at slow speeds. It just feels terrific. It's a really nice drive. And part of the drive is visibility, which again is good in this Telluride. The hood is relatively low. The windshield is not too raked, so I got a good viewing angle. The side windows, very big. Even back there, the blind spot, very small, even though you get blind spot monitoring in here, so that's not a problem, but visibility all around is good. I forgot that another feature you can get inside the Telluride is this heads-up display. It's a nice one. It's a big one right in front of you. It'll tell you your speed limit, how fast you're going, you know, if there's something in your blind spot, right? It's a nice heads-up display. So if you combine that with the 2 screens and the digital rearview mirror, you're talking about 4 different screens inside this Telluride. As for pricing, the Kia Telluride has 9 trim levels, with 4 of them being introduced for this year. And that's because Kia introduced the X-Line and X Pro. The X-Line is meant to be a more rugged, more aggressive looking of the Telluride, and X Pro makes it even more aggressive with all-terrain tires. So the base price, the LX, starts around $36,000. Then you go up from there, obviously. You have the S, the EX, then you have the EX X-Line, EX X Pro. Then you have the SX Prestige, and then you have the SX Prestige X-Line and SX Prestige X Pro. And the SX Prestige X Pro tops out right under $53,000. So there's definitely a lot of trims to choose from. So it really depends on what you're looking for. So to conclude, do I still feel like this is the best midsize SUV you could buy today? Yes. The goodness from 3 years ago are still here. I talked about it, the space, the drive, the comfort, the features, everything still here. But Kia made the Telluride even better. And I've tested a whole bunch of midsize SUVs during this last year. I have not tested a new Pilot, so I can't wait to see how that is. But with everything else that I've driven, this has the perfect balance of everything. There's a few small differences between the Palisade and the Telluride. Me personally, I like the Telluride's look better. I think especially the calligraphy of the Palisade looks like it's a Transformer. This one, less Transformer-ish. It still looks wild and futuristic, but less Transformer-ish. So, like for me, I like the look of the Telluride better. And I do think in terms of the drive, for me, I think it's better because I do think the suspension is a little bit firmer. Also, the steering is a little bit tighter, and I do feel like the exhaust is a little bit louder, okay? I like hearing that exhaust. It's not a V8 throatiness, but just a tad more. So I just feel like the Telluride is the better SUV, and that's why I think this is the best midsize SUV you can buy today. Thanks for watching. Smash on the like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more reviews. Take care. Bye-bye.